Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour, India's Prime Minister visits Guyana on the third leg of his three-nation visit. First visit of an Indian Prime Minister to the Caribbean nation in 56 years to co-chair the second India CARICOM summit. G20 economies wrap up two-day summit in Rio with focus on combating climate change, poverty and other global challenges. South Africa takes over presidency from Brazil. Israel's Netanyahu says Hamas will no longer rule enclave as he visits Gaza, offers a $5 million reward and safe passage for anybody who helps return Israeli captives.
Hamas will not rule Gaza. We are eliminating its military capabilities in a very impressive way.
Donald Trump taps Linda McMahon as Education Secretary. Dr. Mehmet Oz to oversee Medicare and Medicaid, while Howard Lutnick to lead Commerce Department. And the 55th edition of the International Film Festival of India begins in Goa today. 270 films from 101 countries to light up the festival for the next 9 days. So after concluding constructive and fruitful G20 Brazil visit, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Guyana's Georgetown in third leg of his three-nation visit. This is the first ever visit of an Indian Prime Minister in over 5 decades, and in an unprecedented gesture, he was received at the airport by Guyanese President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali and over a dozen cabinet ministers. And upon arrival, PM Modi received a ceremonial welcome and guard of honor in Georgetown. During the two-day visit, the two sides will exchange views on giving strategic direction to our unique relationship, which is based on shared heritage, culture and values. PM Modi will also pay his respects to one of the oldest Indian diaspora who migrated more than 185 years ago and engage a fellow democracy as he addresses their parliament. During this visit, he will also join leaders from the Caribbean partner countries for the second India CARICOM summit. And the summit will enable the leaders to renew historical ties and expand our cooperation into new domains. And upon his arrival at the hotel, PM Modi was received by the Guyanese President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, Grenada's PM Decon Michel and Barbados PM Mia Motley, along with 4 ministers from Guyana. And Indian diaspora welcomed PM Modi amid chants. And people of Indian community also performed cultural dance to welcome Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And Georgetown Mayor Alfred Mentor presented the key to capital city Georgetown to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. All right, we'll go across to Guyana now. DD India's Siddharth Bhardwaj joins us live from there. Siddharth, PM Modi received a thunderous welcome outside the hotel. We saw the visuals also. How excited were the people to meet the Indian Prime Minister, and cultural performances also happened?
Oh, definitely, Abhishek. People were really excited, even before the Prime Minister arrived here at the venue. And, as soon as Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived at the venue, people were just, the excitement was just uncontrollable. A smile was just visible on their faces, and they were just, and chants of Modi, Modi, were all, we could all hear, inside the venue. And people were very happy. They were, trying to shake hands with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And in fact, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also greeted the Indian community, very warmly. And, the gesture that he has shown truly, establish him as a global leader, someone who really cares for the Indian community, the Indian diaspora. And here at the venue, when we were watching Prime Minister Narendra Modi, greeting and meeting the Indian community, it was something to watch out for, definitely. And people were, extended their, they were extending their hands just to, just to touch Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Such is the aura of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And he, of course, some people were also, holding his sketch made by them. Prime Minister Narendra Modi acknowledged them, and also the art which was made by them. Apart from that, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also, saw the cultural performances. There were around 2 cultural performances which took place, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi stood there. He saw the cultural performances, appreciated the dancers, while they were dancing, and after that also, and he also got a picture clicked with all the cultural dancers there at the venue. So all in all, it was really the entire scene. The entire aura was something to feel. And in fact, the Indian diaspora, the Indian community which was present at the venue, were really happy. In fact, we had a word, Abhishek, a while back when we both were, talking to each other. I told you that how excited was the Indian diaspora to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And as soon as he arrived, they were all jumping, they were all, clapping, and they were all saying, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. And the chants, like I said, of Modi, Modi, were all reverberating throughout the venue. It was something to watch out for, like I said. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also, met and greeted, almost every diaspora member, every Indian community member, which was present at the venue. Abhishek, the 40% of Guyana's population, comprise of Indians. Indians have over 180 plus of years of presence here in Guyana. And it's truly remarkable. They were really happy that after so many years, Abhishek, you also told the viewers that after 1968, this is the first visit by any Indian Prime Minister to Guyana, which will certainly, strengthen the historical ties between both the nations, which will, strengthen cultural ties between both the nations. And of course, there are some other things which are on the agenda, that, will be done, and the already established ties between both the countries will further get a boom. Prime Minister Narendra Modi just a while back met the Indian community members, met the Indian diaspora. He met them, he greeted them, and that was a warm gesture shown by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Of course, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision for prosperous growth for both India and Guyana, definitely has flourished this relationship, and the rapid increase in the ties between both the countries is under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership. Definitely,
all right.
Even from a young child to every member of the Indian community was really happy, smiles on their face, was telling everything, that they were so happy to see Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a world leader.
Also, Siddharth, briefly tell us how important is this visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Guyana, which is happening after 5 decades, and also tell us what's on the agenda.
Definitely, Abhishek. It's very, very significant, like I said earlier as well, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Guyana is very, very important. It's a historic state visit by the Indian Prime Minister, which will give a boom to the bilateral ties between both the countries, and it's a very, why it is significant, because there are many reasons. Number one being that you also, like we were also discussing it, and you also told the viewers that after 1968 precisely, this is the first visit by any Indian Prime Minister to Guyana, which will certainly strengthen the historical ties between both the countries. And also Guyana, like I also mentioned earlier as well, that is home to a large Indian diaspora. So that way it will also be this will also strengthen the cultural ties between both the countries. Apart from that, there are many things on the agenda, beginning with the delegation talk between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Irfan Ali, where both the leaders will, they are expected to talk on wide range of areas, including defense and healthcare, education and infrastructure. I also told you, Abhishek, that President Irfan Ali visited India in 2023 last year in Prasar Bharati Divas. He was also awarded with Prasar Bharati Samman. There also he met Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and both leaders discussed wide range of areas, including defense and infrastructure, healthcare, energy. And this time around as well, the talks are going to be around these topics, among others, with energy ties between both the countries are expected to boom. Certainly, very well that Guyana is experiencing a transformative growth when it comes to its economy, because of its booming oil sector, and India here want to partner Guyana, in this transformative phase, and not just in hydrocarbons, Abhishek, but in all the other sectors, including defense and healthcare and education. These are all the areas which I just told you where both the countries have a collaboration, but this visit will certainly strengthen these particular areas.
Right, and Guyana, Siddharth, could play a key role in India's quest to diversify its energy resources. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for your input, Siddharth. Still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Republicans launch a bill to block first transgender member to use female bathrooms. WHO approves second Mpox vaccine from Japanese pharma company for emergency use. And the Alliance of Small Island States calls for accountability at COP29 presidency address, also adopts Africa's road network to climate change.
G20 meeting taking place in Rio on the 18th and 19th of this month. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be participating here as well, along with the leaders of the world's 20 largest economies who will be deliberating on key issues such as eliminating hunger and poverty, sustainable development. For all the latest on the 2024 G20 summit in Rio, join me, Gautam Roy, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited Gaza on Tuesday, where he said Hamas would not rule the Palestinian enclave after the conflict had ended. He added that Israel had destroyed the Islamist group's military capabilities. He stressed that Israel had not given up trying to locate the 101 remaining hostages believed to be still in the enclave, for which he offered a $5 million reward and safe passage for anybody who helps return Israeli captives held in the territory.
Hamas will not rule Gaza. We are eliminating its military capabilities in a very impressive way. We are moving on its governmental capabilities, and the hand is outstretched. Hamas will not be in Gaza. I want to say to those who are holding our hostages, whoever dares to harm our hostages, his blood is on his head. We will pursue you and we will get you.
And the comments were made in a video recording by Netanyahu during his visit to Gaza with Israel's defense minister and the head of its army, where he also received a briefing on operational activities. A quick update on Russia-Ukraine conflict now. US President Joe Biden has approved providing anti-personnel landmines to Ukraine. According to the official site cited in a report, Ukraine has assured that it will not deploy the mines in densely populated areas. The move comes as Russia's advances in eastern Ukraine threaten to overwhelm frontline defenses. This decision marks a significant development in US-Ukraine relations amid ongoing tensions in the region. Meanwhile, Kremlin warned that President Joe Biden's decision to let Ukraine strike targets inside Russia with US applied long-range missiles adds fuel to the fire and would escalate international tensions even higher. And shifting focus to the US, where President-elect Donald Trump is forging ahead with his presidential transition, announcing a list of loyalists for top roles and a string of controversial cabinet picks. He has named Linda McMahon as the Education Secretary. McMahon headed up the Small Business Administration in Trump's first administration and was a major donor and early supporter of the Republican president-elect when he first ran for the White House almost a decade ago. Trump has also named his pick for the post of the administrator for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Celebrity Dr. Mehmet Oz would work closely with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has been nominated to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. Trump said the pair would take on the illness industrial complex and all the horrible chronic diseases left in its wake, as well as cutting what he called waste and fraud. And the last but not the least announcement made on Tuesday included the name of Cantor Fitzgerald CEO Howard Lutnick, who lead the Commerce Department in Trump's cabinet. With Lutnick, Trump would be tapping a long-time friend who backs the Republicans' vision to bring manufacturing jobs back to the US and promote the adoption of cryptocurrency. And the Manhattan District Attorney's Office announced that it would agree to delay Donald Trump's sentencing in the hush money case, allowing prosecutors sufficient time to address the president-elect's anticipated motion to dismiss the case. Prosecutors in the case stated in a letter that they intend to challenge the president-elect's efforts to have the case dismissed following his victory over Kamala Harris. They argued that the court should establish a timeline for Trump's expected motion to dismiss. Prosecutors also suggested that other proceedings should be paused until the dismissal issue is resolved. And a Republican member of the US House of Representatives introduced a bill aimed at blocking the chamber's first openly transgender member from using women's bathrooms. Representative Nancy Mace's bill would prohibit House members and employees from using bathrooms other than those corresponding to their biological sex. Top House Democrat Hakeem Jeffries called the bill bullying. Transgender rights have become a political flashpoint in the US. Lawmakers in 37 states introduced at least 142 bills to restrict gender-affirming healthcare for transgender and gender-expansive people in 2023. McBride was the first openly transgender person to serve as a state senator when she was elected in Delaware in 2020. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson declined to say how he would handle the issue at a press conference on Tuesday. All right, news coming in. Guyana will confer its highest national award, the Order of Excellence, on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So this is big news. Guyana and Barbados to confer the top awards to India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Barbados will confer the prestigious Honorary Order of Freedom of Barbados on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And we all know that Dominica had to announce its highest national award, Dominica Award of Honor, on Prime Minister Narendra Modi a few days ago. So big news here. Guyana and Barbados to confer their top awards to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and Dominica had also announced his top award for Prime Minister Modi a few days ago, and he will be getting this award at the CARICOM summit, and number of international honors for Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached 19 now. So big news here. Guyana will confer its highest national award, the Order of Excellence, on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and Barbados will confer the prestigious Honorary Order of Freedom of Barbados on Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And few days ago, Dominica had to announce its highest national award, Dominica Award of Honor, on Prime Minister Modi a few days ago. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on Guyana visit, a 2-day visit where bilaterals will be held, and several agreements, several MOUs are likely to be signed, and he got a ceremonial welcome at the airport. President of Guyana, Mohammad Irfan Ali, was there to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is the last leg of his 3-nation visit, and he will also co-chair the India CARICOM summit too. We'll come back to it, but the Group of 20 economies on Tuesday wrapped up their 2-day meeting, underscoring the need for collective action to combat climate change, poverty and other global challenges. On day 2, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed a session on sustainable development and energy transition, emphasizing the need for collective efforts to build a sustainable future. Details in a report.
And with this, the 19th G20 summit ended, on world's major economies working on deepening global cooperation with one aim, a better future. G20 leaders' declaration focused on sustainable development, growth, fighting poverty and harnessing technology.
Declaration focuses on hunger and poverty, it focuses on climate and energy, it focuses on developmental issues, it focuses a lot on accelerating the pace of sustainable development goals. There's been a huge emphasis on climate and energy also, but it also focuses a lot on a major component of this was geopolitics. The declaration has underlines the immense human suffering and adverse impacts of ongoing conflicts.
With focus on fighting poverty, the G20 summit in Brazil was mostly focused on ways to tackle poverty and hunger. India also joined the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty. India is one of 147 founding members of the alliance.
Leaders of G20 were invited, countries and heads of international organizations, they were all invited. Then they have participated and launched the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty. And India has also joined this alliance as one of the 147 founding members. This includes about 81 countries, the African Union and European Union, 24 international organizations, 9 international financial institutions, and 31 philanthropic and non-governmental organizations.
On day 2 of the summit, leaders participated in a session on sustainable development and energy transition. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the session and welcomed Brazil's decision to take forward India's sustainable development priorities. Prime Minister Modi elaborated on the steps taken by India to foster sustainable development. PM stated that India has provided housing to 40 million families in the last 10 years. He added that 120 million households have been provided with clean drinking water in the last 5 years. PM highlighted that India was the first G20 country to meet its Paris climate goal commitments. Prime Minister spoke about the global initiatives taken by India, such as the International Solar Alliance, Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, Mission Life, One Sun, One World, One Grid, and Global Biofuel Alliance to foster a sustainable planet. Prime Minister urged countries to support the Global Development Compact announced by India at the 3rd Voice of the Global South Summit. On the sidelines of the summit, the declaration on digital public infrastructure, artificial intelligence and data for governance were adopted. These offer a roadmap towards a more sustainable planet. With inputs from Gautam Rai, Bureau Report, DD India.
And there has been a mixture of positive and mutual interest from a few Pacific region leaders at COP29 in response to the recent US presidential election results and its impact to the region. Pacific Island Secretary General highlighted that Pacific remains committed to the agenda of friends to all, enemies to none, and is willing to work with whoever comes into power.
I think we can work together in some areas where we can see eye to eye, and the United States is always ready to assist the Pacific community anytime, and with our concerns and our priorities regarding climate change, I'm sure that the new administration will find a way of coming on board and assisting us.
And continuing with the updates from the COP29 summit, the Alliance of Small Island States is now facing the possibility of losing the most vulnerable countries with the least capacity to address these climate events. Samoa Minister of Natural Resources and Environment said while addressing the presidency of COP29, he stated that while trillions are spent globally on fossil fuel infrastructure and security, there is nothing done to save humanity from the clutches of climate change. And during the COP29 summit on Tuesday, the Organization of Turkic States marked a pivotal moment in regional climate change by signing the OTS Climate Resilience Village Agreement. This agreement, signed by the ministers and deputy ministers of Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkey and Uzbekistan, underscores the collective commitment of these nations to strengthening climate adaptation and sustainable development practices. And Elon Musk's company SpaceX has launched its 6th test flight of the Starship spacecraft from South Texas, with President-elect Donald Trump watching on with Elon Musk from the launch site. The rocket made a safe landing and stayed intact Tuesday night as it splashed down in the Indian Ocean. SpaceX opted to land the ship's Super Heavy booster in the Gulf of Mexico rather than on land. Starship did ignite one of its Raptor engines successfully while in space for the first time. SpaceX plans to eventually use Starship to carry convoys of people to the Moon and Mars. It's also the vehicle that NASA selected to land American astronauts on the lunar surface as soon as 2026.
Avionics, power and telemetry nominal. Kate, Jesse, take good the views. Hopefully.
And the World Health Organization approved an Mpox vaccine from Japanese pharma company KM Biologics for emergency use, the second one to get the agency's seal of approval. WHO said it granted emergency use listing authorization to the LC16M8 vaccine to facilitate increased and timely access to vaccines in communities where Mpox outbreaks are surging. WHO emergency use listing of the LC16M8 vaccine against Mpox marks a significant step in our response to the current emergency, providing a new option to protect all populations, including children. Still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Maharashtra Jharkhand vote in assembly polls today, counting to be done on 23rd November. And DD India had a conversation with Director General Doordarshan, who gave us insights of the preparedness of IFFI. And production-linked incentive schemes have become game changers, enabling investments of thousands of crores and generating lakhs of jobs.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium, We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Updates from India now. Maharashtra and Jharkhand vote today in the high-stakes assembly elections that will decide the fate of the ruling and opposition political alliances in the two states. While polling in Maharashtra is being conducted in a single phase, Jharkhand is voting in the second and final phase today. Voting in both the states began at 7 a.m. and will end at 6 p.m. In Maharashtra, a total of 4,136 candidates are contesting across 288 constituencies. In Jharkhand, over 500 candidates, including Chief Minister Hemant Soren and his wife Kalpana Soren, are contesting in 38 of the total 81 assembly seats. Counting of votes in both the states will take place on Saturday.
I'm 87. Still, I say it is my duty to vote.
The voters would vote for your conscience, that you know that who will work for you and he is better for the society.
Considering we keep saying India has such a youthful population, it's really nice to see them again getting involved in politics instead of, earlier it was like, oh, I don't know, nothing's in my control. Everything is in our control if we come together as a big group.
I always vote for progress for the state and the country, and I vote looking at myself as an Indian. Yeah.
I have voted for a stable government, for development, for betterment of Mumbai. Mumbai has so much potential. We need to make it much better than what it is, and I think we can do that if we get up and vote.
And the 55th edition of Indian International Film Festival will begin today in the picturesque West Indian state of Goa. 180 international films from 81 countries will be screened during the festival this year. The festivities will commence with the red carpet premiere of the opening film Better Man, directed by Australian filmmaker Michael Gracie. This year's IFFI will feature Australia as the country of focus. For the first time in IFFI's history, the opening ceremony will feature live Indian Sign Language interpretation, ensuring that all attendees, including those with hearing difficulties, can fully engage and enjoy the festival. The 55th edition will also feature a fiesta, an entertainment festival that brings together films, food, art and interactive experiences. IFFI 2024 will also focus on young filmmakers. The future is now. The theme of IFFI 2024 underscores the importance of fresh voices in shaping the future of world cinema. And Doordarshan has been working tirelessly in preparation for the opening ceremony of the International Film Festival of India, ensuring that the event reaches a global audience with flawless execution. As the official broadcasting partner of IFFI, DD India correspondent gives us the insights of the event.
Lights, camera, IFFI. The stage is all set for the 55th edition of International Film Festival of India in the heart of Goa, and preparations are in full swing for the mega event. This year's program features films across 16 curated segments, ensuring there is something for everyone. From heartwarming dramas to intense documentaries, every corner of cinema is represented. Films making their national and international premieres at IFFI add to the excitement, allowing audiences a sneak peek at groundbreaking stories. Apart from that, country of focus is Australia this time. Speaking on its importance, Ms. Vrunda Desai, who's the Joint Secretary of Film, said that this is not only strengthening the bilateral relationship between the two countries, but is also opening doors to global film market.
The preparations are in full swing for the 55th edition of International Film Festival of India, and right now we have with us Ms. Vrunda Desai, who is the Joint Secretary Films here. Ma'am, thank you so much for exclusively talking to DD India. How are the preparations going on for the festival?
Thank you so much. Preparations are in full swing. As you can see, there's a lot of enthusiasm, and the whole space, is reverberating with joy and celebration at Goa. Yeah.
First of all, we would like to talk about many firsts that we are witnessing, right from the panoramas and the films that we have included this time in the 55th edition to the kind of space we are giving to women. How is the platform looking like this time?
We have started a special section called the Best Debut Indian Director. So we have got very nice response for it, and we look forward to the competition. And this year Australia is the country of focus, and we have the opening film from Australia, as well as there is a roundtable conference between the producers, the Indian filmmakers and Australian filmmakers. So we look forward to the outcomes of this roundtable. Also in the we are showcasing 46 movies from women filmmakers in this 55th IFFI.
For the first time ever, an OTT platform of Prasar Bharati will also be released on the opening ceremony of IFFI. The Prasar Bharati OTT booth will provide festival goers with an opportunity to explore the expanding world of OTT. From culture to cuisine, IFFI is going to be a delight for cine lovers. And it also provides an opportunity to hone their skills of the young volunteers.
I'm very excited, like we are getting to learn something new which will be helpful for our career, as we are students of hospitality. We are like doing graduation in Panache Academy, which is basically hospitality in aviation and tourism, and also hospitality. They told us to go and attend the interview which was held here. So we came here, we gave the interview, and the staff was so friendly and they helped us. And after that we just came one day and just they put us under volunteers like supervisors, and now we are under accessibility department.
I'm very excited. This is such a new thing for me. I never experienced such thing before, so I'm very excited.
The festival, which is spread across 9 days, kickstarts on the 20th of November and will go on till the 28th of Feb in Goa. Deepika Mehta's report for DD India.
And IFFI continues to inspire and excite not only the movie fans but also the artists. For Indian actress Amy Barwa, IFFI is not just a film event but a celebration of cinema on the global stage. She says that IFFI has always been a platform where filmmakers, actors and cinephiles come together to witness the rich diversity and creativity of the film industry.
Your expectations from this particular edition of IFFI?
मुझे इस बार सबसे अच्छा लगा जो डेब्यू डायरेक्टर अवार्ड है. मुझे लगता है युवाओं को इस बार बहुत ही प्राधान्य दिया जा रहा है, और ये हमारे लिए बहुत बड़ी बात है. पहले ऐसे था कि फिल्म्स आते थे, बट हमेशा से लोगों को लगता था कि जो इंटरनेशनल कैटेगरी है वहाँ पे इंटरनेशनल बाहर के लोगों को अवार्ड मिलेंगे, हमारी जो यहाँ की युवाएं हैं उनको कुछ हो सकता है नहीं मिलेंगे. लेकिन इस बार एक अवार्ड ही उनके लिए रखा गया है, तो इस साल ही युवा के लिए है, तो मैं तो बहुत खुश हूँ.
Your message to the young filmmakers?
See, IFFI हमेशा से हर साल और बड़े होते जा रहे हैं, और मैं हर एक को रिक्वेस्ट करती हूँ कि IFFI किसी एक पार्ट की फेस्टिवल नहीं है, ये पूरी इंडिया की फेस्टिवल है, और हर जगह से लोग आए और इसको सेलिब्रेट करें.
And IFFI telecast partner Doordarshan is leaving no stone unturned to make IFFI a global event and making the event accessible across the globe. DD India's correspondent Deepika had a conversation with Director General Doordarshan Kanchan Prasad, who gives us the insights of the preparedness of IFFI.
Now let's talk about the telecast partner Doordarshan, who have made many efforts to make it a global event and to make it accessible for each and every citizen of the entire world. And to get you more on this, we have with us the DG of Doordarshan, Ms. Kanchan Prasad. Ma'am, thank you so much for talking exclusively to DD India. How are the preparations going on?
Thank you, Deepika. The preparations are immense, and we are very excited that Doordarshan, as always, is the telecast partner. And this time we've made special arrangements as always. And we have about 21 cameras set up, and with which we will be covering both the red carpet and the grand stage event live. Apart from this time there is a very, very special element, which is to show the inclusivity. We are planning to telecast on our DD Bharati channel the sign language through which the entire event will be covered. So world over, this is kind of an attempt to get everyone included in this entire journey of films.
Ma'am, I would say this is rather a very noble attempt which is happening for the first time, that an event like IFFI is being covered in sign language as well. Apart from that, how are we planning to make it really massive when we talk about its telecast across the world and across the nation specifically?
So as I told you, this is being covered through 21 cameras, out of which a few will be on the red carpet and some will be on at the grand stage inside. There are massive lenses which are there, and our OB vans are deployed. This special broadcast will be telecast live on Doordarshan National, DD News, and of course DD Bharati for all the people who want to see it as an inclusive event.
And also, ma'am, when we talk about what was the idea behind, this inspiring thing when we talk about making it interpreted into a sign language, what was the idea behind it? And how did you come to this decision that we should take it forward in the form of sign language as well?
So, Deepika, for every year, as you are aware, that for our national broadcast like Republic Day or the Independence Day, we do of course cover it in the sign language, but this time we decided that even for entertainment segment, let me take it forward, because Doordarshan, is a pioneer in many of the fields. So why not in this field? So we decided that this time, let us give it a try and hope we are going to make people proud that we can take this step as well.
What do we have in store when we talk about other small events, apart from screening, apart from the accessibility feature? What else do we have?
Doordarshan is also trying to cover the masterclass and put it out on the social media, so people who could not watch it, or even people who are sitting far away, if they watch our YouTube channels and the YouTube channel of NFDC and IFFI, they can actually catch up with the masterclass, where you'll have very, very special guests almost every day.
So there you heard, Doordarshan is really going to make people proud, because Doordarshan is not only showcasing exclusive shows both on DD India, DD News, DD Bharati and across all the verticals of Doordarshan, but it is also sending the message across through sign language. So the program, the event and the message is accessible to everyone. With camera person Alok, this is Deepika reporting from DD India.
And Sagar Manthan, South Asia's largest maritime Thought Leadership Forum, concluded in New Delhi. The maiden edition of Sagar Manthan, the Great Oceans Dialogue, aims to foster knowledge on maritime sector and provide a premier global platform for global leaders and policymakers to share and shape actionable insights towards effective decisions for a future-ready, sustainable and efficient marine sector. As India's role as an important and key maritime player has increased manifold, this platform offers a premier platform for everyone to set the course for maritime sector's collective journey onwards.
To achieve the blue economy, how green transport will be met a reality by developing green port, green shipping, etc., etc. I believe this is what the Great Ocean Dialogue Sagar Manthan have contributed, and I believe it would be great helpful to each others. All the maritime nation will be benefited out of this event, and they will work as a family to have a holistic working relationship within the nation.
Framework of the ocean economy that serves India's interests as it moves from $4 trillion to $10 trillion, which places India at the high table of the big transitions underway, whether they are the green transitions, whether they are sustainability focused transitions, whether they are transitions to try and demonopolize the sector, which is currently seeing in many ways one or two actors dominating it.
Still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Defending champion India to take on China in the final of Women's Asian Champions Trophy. Tennis legend Rafael Nadal bids farewell to this sport. And amid yellow warnings, northern England dusted in first snow of the season. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. The smartphone production linked incentive scheme has proven to be a significant revenue generator for the Indian government, yielding 19 times the value of its incentive disbursements over the last 4 fiscal years. The production linked incentive PLI scheme's initiative was launched in 2020 to boost domestic manufacturing and promote specific sectors. PLI schemes have become game changers, enabling investments of thousands of crores and generating lakhs of jobs. So there are 755 beneficiary companies of PLI schemes, and 14 sectors covered under it have witnessed investments of rupees 1.46 lakh crore till August. There is a production increase in terms of sales of 12.5 lakh crore, and employment generation has been about 10 lakh people. With the help of smartphone PLI scheme, the smartphone industry contributed rupees 1.10 lakh crore to the government exchequer between financial year 21 and 24. The mobile phone industry has generated nearly 300,000 direct jobs and 600,000 indirect jobs since the launch of the scheme. From importing 21 crore mobiles in 2014-15, India manufactured 33 crore phones in 23-24. The value of mobile phones exports surged from 1,556 crore in 2015 to rupees 1,28,982 crore in 23-24. Within 3 years of its inception, the Telecom PLI scheme has attracted an investment of rupees 3,400 crore. India has surpassed rupees 50,000 crore milestone in telecom equipment production, and this has created more than 17,800 direct jobs. India has become an exporter of 4G and 5G telecom equipment within 3 years of its inception of PLI. Now, the Nasdaq and S&P 500 ended higher on Tuesday, led by a jump in technology shares. Meanwhile, Walmart shares climbed after the retailer raised its annual forecast. The S&P 500 gained 23.35 points to 5,916.97, and the Nasdaq Composite added 195.66 points or 18,987.47. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq have risen for 2 straight days as the market recovers some of the losses posted last week. While Asian markets opened on a positive note, with investors closely watching earnings reports from the world's most valuable company and assessing heightened geopolitical risk, Seoul and Tokyo stocks edged higher, while Hong Kong futures pointing to slight declines. The Asia Dow is trading up by 0.45% and Japan's Nikkei 225 is trading in green, up by 0.19%. South Korea's Kospi is higher by 0.20%, and the benchmark Chinese index Shanghai Composite trading up by 0.67%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng is also in the green, up by 0.77%. Sports updates now. We'll start with hockey. Defending champions India will take on China in the final of Women's Asian Champions Trophy 2024 at the Rajgir Hockey Stadium in Bihar on Wednesday. India secured its place in the final with a close 2-0 win over Japan in the semi-finals, with Navneet Kaur and Lalram Siami on the score sheet in the space of 8 minutes. Meanwhile, China made the summit clash on the back of a 3-1 win over Malaysia in the other semi-final. Deng Qichen, Fan Yunxia and Tan Jinzhuang were the scorers for China. Tennis now. Rafael Nadal's illustrious career came to an end as Spain lost to the Netherlands at the Davis Cup on an emotional night in Malaga on Tuesday night. Fans and Nadal all felt emotional as the sporting legend bids a farewell from the sport. Here's more.
tennis legend Rafael Nadal bit his lower lip and his reddened eyes welled with tears as he stood alongside his Davis Cup teammates for Spain's national anthem at what him and everyone knew might be the last match of his career. Hours after Nadal's loss to both Juan de Janssen of Netherlands was over, the evening did not turn out to represent the 22-time Grand Slam champion's farewell to professional tennis because the Dutch eliminated the Spaniards in the quarterfinals just after midnight. And it was during an on-court post-match ceremony to honor Nadal that he cried and cried at the singing chorus of Rafa from the spectators. At the video showing highlights from his more than 2 decades on tour and the collection of recorded tributes from tennis legends like Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic.
Of course, have been an emotional day, nerves before what can be my last singles match like a professional. That's the way that I felt that. And then, yeah, of course, the emotions, feeling the national anthem for the last time like a professional have been, very special. In some ways good. Maybe if that was my last match, that was my last match. If nothing happens. I lost my first match in the Davis Cup and I lost my last one. So we closed the circle.
One of the greatest tennis players in the history of the game, Nadal won everything there was to win and defined a golden era in the sport. His 92 singles career titles include 22 Grand Slams, a record 14 French Open titles, and Olympic gold at Beijing 2008. He also collected a doubles gold at Rio Olympics 2016 and 4 Davis Cup titles. A light projection featuring a 10-meter image of Nadal was also projected near the Eiffel Tower to mark the nearing end of the iconic player's career in the sport. When the matches, the ceremony, the night, and his career were over, Nadal hugged his teammates and left the court, pausing to wave a goodbye to his fans one last time. Sports Desk, DD India.
A light dusting of snow covers Pavilion Gardens Park in Buxton, Northern England. The Met Office has issued yellow warnings for snow and ice across large parts of Northern England as the country experiences its first snow of the season. Well, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.